Ready? Hi everybody, I'm Raleigh Kaminsky, and I am going to teach you how to make easy knishes. Many generations ago, and including that of my mother, knishes were made by stretching dough on tables, and it was very laborious, but very fun for the ladies who made them. But with modern day products, we are able to make knishes without the muss or the fuss. So easy peasy knishes is what you're going to learn how to make today. There are a few things you need in order to make the knishes. The products are very easy. First, you need to buy Pepperidge Farm puff pastry sheets, which is found in the frozen food section at your local grocery store. Next, which is a little harder, I use a prepared product called Lieber's mashed potatoes. But the key to this product is that it has chickeny flavor with fried onions. Locally in Minneapolis, you can buy it at the Kosher Spot off of Minnetonka Boulevard and Joppa. You can also order it online, although beware, there's usually some heavy shipping costs, so buy a case and share it with your friends. Next, you'll need flour. You'll need a rolling pin. You will need some type of board to do your work on, and you will also need a tray lined with parchment paper. You're going to put your made knishes on the tray, and you're going to freeze them and then bag them afterwards. Excuse me. One of the things you need to do ahead of time is make your potato mixture, because the mixture has to be cool in order for you to put it on the dough without making the dough bleed. So I made this about a half hour earlier, and now the temperature is fine, so I can put my hands in the mixture and it will not tear the dough when I put it on it. Another thing that you'll need to do with the puff pastry sheets, about the same time that you make your potato mixture, you need to, unwrap your dough, and it comes in sheets that you have to let unfreeze a little bit and thaw. Then you can separate and cut them into rectangles. This is how they come. And my assistant, if you would come over here, please, to show how I lay them out to thaw, and then I cut them into the rectangles at where they were folded. And my assistant is my husband, Randy. Thank you, Randy. One of the things that you should know is if you can't find the mashed potatoes, you can also make your own using mashed potato buds. You fry up some onions, you season it to taste, and then one of the things that you should season it with is white pepper. Otherwise, it looks like there are little black spots in your knish, and that might not look as pretty. So here's what we're going to do to make our easy peasy knishes. First, we're going to put some flour on. I used a cutting board, but whatever type of non-stick board you can use would be, or an acrylic cutting board would be great. Then you see this rectangular shape. You want to keep this shape to make your knish dough. So I'm going to roll this out. Also put a little flour on your rolling pin, and extend it. Do not make it into a square. Do not make it into a circle. Make it into a long, long rectangle. The dough is really pliable, and you'll see after I put the mixture on how you can manipulate it. So you're gonna get your hands dirty, but you're gonna take a glob of potato mixture and you're gonna line the dough with it. Do not roll it. Do not make rolls of it. Just put clumps on. Use your hands, smush it down a little bit, and you basically put it in the middle of your rectangle. And you do it close to the edge. Now, here is the fun part. We're gonna roll the dough. So you're gonna roll and make it snug. Do not be afraid to touch the dough, squeeze it, and you're gonna make it into a long tube. And you tuck it and roll it. Tuck and roll, and then you can squeeze it, and now you have this very long roll, which is probably, well, a little more than 12 inches or so. All right, now you'll notice here, I don't have a knife. You're figuring, how am I gonna make these knishes into little knishes? Well, the side of your hand becomes the knife. It crimps the dough so it sticks together. So here's the example. Now, knishes you can make in little small sort of appetizer sizes. You can kind of make them medium for an accompaniment to a dinner, or you can make them even larger, kind of horror, really big. I prefer the ones that are about 1.5 inches in diameter. So you're gonna take the side of your hand and you're gonna press down about 1.5 inches. This long piece will make about 6 or 7 knishes. Each strip is a little different. So we're gonna take like a chop, we're gonna put it down, press, and saw. And you'll see that this is pressed together, the bottom. So this becomes what I call the tush of the knish. I put the knish, come on in closer, Randy. I put it on its tush, and now we're gonna make them into a little bird's nest. I use my forefinger, and I do that, and I use my thumb, and I press them and shape them. They're not gonna look exactly the same. And there you go, is a little knish. We then put it on our tray. Okay, about 1.5 inches, press down, saw. Here you go again. See how the bottom is pressed together, it's sealed. You put it on its tush, and with your fingers and forefinger and thumb, you make a little bird's nest. And we're gonna repeat. Press down, saw, stick it on its tush with your forefinger and thumb, holding it in your hand. You have a lovely shaped knish. All right, we're gonna continue on. On the tray, you can put them close together because they're gonna freeze and they're not gonna expand or anything, so you can get many on a tray. Okay, so here's the question. You have this much left. It could be either a really huge knish, or I'll show you what to do. Make the normal size knish that you are gonna have. And then you have this left over. It's really too small to make a smaller knish, so I just unwrap it. We're gonna throw that dough away, but we're gonna put our potato mixture back for reuse. All right, we're gonna show you again. Flour on your board. both sides, a little flour on your rolling pin. Each piece of dough is a little temperamental. It can roll out longer than the piece before or shorter. So they're not all the exact same, but you don't want it too wide, too short. Okay. Put our hand in the mixture, grab some potatoes, put it down in the middle of your dough. Pat it a little bit so it sticks together. Okay. If you put too much in, the knishes are going to be sort of too big and they might pop open when you're baking them. All right, so you take the edge, start at the end. I always start on the left side. Roll the dough over. And now tuck it. You can squeeze it. Nothing's going to happen if you squeeze it. Roll it. And see, now it even becomes a little longer than it was when I first rolled it out. Don't worry about the ends being open because that will be what you'll fold over. All right, so I'm going to do this one more time to show you. We take our side of our hand, press down, squeeze, and saw. We take our forefinger and our thumb. We make a little bird's nest, and you can shape it a little more if you so desire. Press down. Make your seal. Use your thumb, your forefinger, and your little bird's nest. And your little bird's nest is important, and I'll tell you why when I tell you how to bake the knishes. Okay, so now this one is a little smaller than the previous one I showed you. So you can use this as maybe it'll be a little bigger knish, but give that to the favorite person at your dinner table. So out of those two pieces of dough, I have 3, 6, 9, 10 knishes. It just varies how many you get out of the dough depending on the size that you want to make. When your tray is filled, you're going to put them in the freezer and freeze them for a couple hours. Afterwards, take them out of the freezer and put them in Ziploc bags. Now, when you are ready to make your knishes for your dinner, take them out of the freezer. You line, you can make them in a toaster oven if you just want to make a few. I always put some parchment paper under the tray, or you can use a Pyrex pie plate, but put the parchment paper underneath so they don't get burned on the bottom. But what I like to do, and I'm sorry I forgot to take this out ahead of time, is to use a little margarine, excuse me. I'm an amateur at this, so I didn't have this out. So I forgot to mention when you're making these, the products are, the Liebers is Pareve, and the puff pastry sheets are Pareve. But if you need to keep it non-dairy, be sure to buy margarine that is Pareve non-dairy. Anyways, so when you're getting ready to bake this, you take a little blip of whatever product you use and you stick it in the dimple of the knish, like that. And that gives the knish a nice little brown coloring, and crispness when you're baking them. So you can bake them frozen at 400 degrees for about 20 to 25 minutes. Because everyone's ovens vary, of course, you should keep an eye on them and take them out when they kind of look golden brown. So I think when you make these and serve them at your meal, your guests are going to say, wow, what a Knish maven you are. Enjoy the Knishes. Happy holidays. Stay safe and keep smiling. Thanks.